Just to let everybody know that if there are any questions, we should be asking a lot of questions to you guys also, and you are also welcome to ask us questions. So I'll start off with a basic question. Many high school students are unsure about what to study or which career to pursue, because I remember as a student, I was clueless. How does the school support them in identifying their interests, strengths, and aligning these with suitable academic or career pathways? Let's start off with you. I think you'll have to share the two mics that we have on stage. Yes.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. First of all, thank you for inviting us here and giving us this opportunity.
Our pleasure.
When it comes to align students' career and their choices, the most important thing is to make inclination between their interest, their aptitude, and their personalities. Because what happens when we know that child is interested in football, but we need to know that what is the scope? Is that child is only interested or is really good at it? The aptitude is there or not? So, inclination of all these three domains, that passion, helps us to understand and guide that child further to go ahead in his journey.
Absolutely. I think you used a very good word, which is aptitude. Ma'am, would you agree, disagree? Would you like to add something to it?
I strongly agree with her since this is adolescence time and it's a time for exploration. So most of the students are understandably unsure of what their future looks like. So in our International Indian School, our approach is to create a safe and supportive environment so that the students can explore their own potentials and they can discover themselves. So we do conduct like reflective assessments and collaborative activities, so which they can sure of what their future aligns with, so they can understand who truly they are, their values are aligning with. So we provide all kind of activities other than like academics, extracurricular activities. So I strongly agree with what Ms. said. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I would like to ask you the same question, but I'd just like to add in something. When I was a kid, I was really confused. And I guess it's okay to be confused as well, right? So, yes.
I actually find it very funny that you mentioned the word clueless.
Yes.
I was having a discussion with my colleagues the other day, and in the past we used to have students who would be clueless, wouldn't have a starting point, but not so much nowadays. And it's not surprising given the access of information they have these days, or the overload of information, if I may say
Correct.
so. So it goes back to the question you mentioned. You said that they're unsure these days, and that's very to the point. We find that students these days are confused by headlines. They are confused by the latest and the greatest narratives out there, on the one hand. On the other hand, you still have the classic, students who are uncertain about a certain choice because they simply lack understanding or lack information. I'm sure it comes as no surprise to any of us here that you can have students come in these days and say, I want to major in artificial intelligence without really understanding what AI is, and who can blame them, right?
Hey, Chat GPT is our best friend, okay?
Exactly, and I agree. But social media says it's the future. Everyone is talking about how it's changing the world, but and I think this is where we come in, right? It's the buzzword of today, but
Right.
the buzzwords change. It used to be blockchain. It might well become quantum computing in the future. So our job comes in trying to steer students away from the hype and more to the reality. They need to understand the details of the day-to-day of a certain job, and we engage in conversations with them, open dialogue with them and their parents, and we teach them to ask the right questions, which we then answer together. They need to ask themselves, is this, what skill set is needed for this industry? What school subjects are directly related to this? And more importantly, are they subjects that I enjoy? What about the job market, job prospects? Is the market expected to grow in the future? What are realistic salary expectations? These are all extremely important questions that they need to ask themselves. And then part of our job is making the resources and the tooling available to help them find these answers.
Yeah, I love that. I think that you gave them a very good guide on how to ask the right kind of questions, right? Ma'am, would you agree, disagree, add or subtract anything?
Yeah, Andy made a really good point about our jobs as counselors and guidance counselors for these students is to guide them away from the hype and rumors that they might have heard from their friends twice removed, uncles, aunt from far away. And I also kind of want to add to that reality as well, the reality of starting early. I think a lot of students kind of lack in the time management department. And I think that's our job, is to kind of get them early and get them thinking about it early on, as early as 8th grade, 9th grade, to try to get them to think about what are the things that they want to do, follow their passions, as Ariba and Anita said, and see like what interests them, and what is realistic for them, as Andy has said as well, like what will they make in the future, but start them early, and getting them that hands-on experience, whether that's through writing workshops, or bringing in other institutions like ourselves at Score Plus. We hold like writing workshops and test preparation, and getting them prepared in any way that they can, and providing those resources as early as possible.
I think I love that. And I think it's very pertinent that you mentioned that, because time management is key. I think it's even important for us as adults to understand that as well. So thank you so very much for that. Very well said. So now, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to welcome another one of our speakers here. The CU Guidance Counselor, Asian International Private School, Aldana City, Reshma Ibrahim Belma Kankur. Welcome, ma'am. How are you? All right. Could you please pass the mic to her as well? I would just like to ask her the same question. So we basically started off by asking, all the speakers here a question that many high school students over here are a little unsure about, what to study, which career to pursue. So how would your school support that?
Okay. Good morning, everyone. To this question, if I have to start, when we talk about career guidance, it's not about when the child reaches grade 9 or 10, that's where they have to think about it. So what I do in my school, with the help of our management and the school team, we start this career guidance from grade 6 onwards. So basically, we start to explore and identify the passion of a child. So when passion and their skills, what they put in, and how that will transfer into their professional later period of time. So we try to first identify. So that could be the academic achievement, that could be child's personality, the skills what they are exhibiting in the school. So we try to analyze that, and then slowly we try to identify their interest inventory. So some of the tools which we basically use to understand which area the child is really working hard,
Right.
the child's potential, that is what which we need to explore. From then on, that is the base. That's a foundation which we are starting. And from then onward, regular analyzing, regular observation, and regular contact with the parent and the child to understand where the child is standing, and in the future, where the child could go. And depending on that, as I have told you, some of the passion test which I do for my students,
Right.
to understand what are the passions. They might have a plenty of passion, but they're not able to understand which area exactly I'm good at, which area I need to explore. So that is where we help them to have a research. So let the child research on these areas. And the main important thing what I do is the peer mentoring. I think that is one of the best point which will really help. Okay. And the sessions, group sessions. So talking not directly about if I have to tell, we do talk about medical or engineering. This is the main thing which we talk.
Of course.
So when I said about passion, what I do is I ask the students, okay, what does this mean? So how you want to explore? And then I'll try to bring our peers into the picture and explain to them. That's where we start something called as passion project.
Right.
Where they start to work on their passion project with the help of other peers, and they come up on that. We give them opportunity to present these, especially during their classroom environment. It could be during their assembly, so that many number of students could hear.
Right.
This is what we try to do in the student level. And along with that, with the parents, one-on-one counseling, personalized counseling, and awareness sessions. These are the things which we mainly try to enhance awareness first. And then we pitch in to the areas which they are really.
All right,
So
fantastic.
this will help the students.
Absolutely. You actually answered the second part of my question that I was just about to ask everybody as well, but I'm glad that you did that, because you set the benchmark for others to follow. So I will take that conversation forward, ask you the same question pertaining to tools that she was just talking about. That what tools or frameworks such as, for example, psychometric assessments, maybe career workshops, internships, do you use to guide students in their decision-making process? We'll start with you, ma'am.
Yeah, so when we talk about the psychometric tools, here we need to understand that there is no tool which is completely perfect, and we always need to like mix and match. So what I do in my school is that I use different platforms and I find the best features of them, which I tell my students to go for. For example, I like personally I like lifology as one of the tool, which gives you a very detailed information about your personality, your interest, and how much which career is matched to you, how much percent it is matching to your personality, how much it will be matching to your interest. And then further moving to it, but it does not have any aptitude test into it. Then how to go further? There comes in Unifrog. There is a skill test in it, and then there is an aptitude test in it. When we get that all of these results and we combine the results and we see, okay, these are the options, further we help them to explore the universities on the same platform. That mix match of different tools helps them to see what will be the best fit.
Right.
So we should not be limited to one particular platform and encourage students. Of course, we need platforms, and it is our job to identify which will be the best ones to help them.
You know, I'm glad that you mentioned this because everything seems to be very specialized and streamlined. So it's not very generic, which is why every individual is very important. Ma'am, I would love to know your input in it as well.
Since they both mentioned all the important points, it's already covered. But still, I do believe the psychometric assessment is the foundation of this process. Because before that, we conduct a survey. In our International Indian School, what we do is we conduct a survey for the students to know their interests and values. Then we conduct tests like aptitude tests and personality tests like 16PF, MBT, and all of that. And we sit together, like ma'am mentioned, we sit together for one-on-one counseling sessions to know their values and interests and their potential. We help them to rediscover it. And also we are partnering with agencies to provide them professional opportunities.
Yes.
We conduct and organize workshops in our school so that the students know more of the job opportunities. And this year, we are also trying to implement an internship program, which we consider as a very impactful initiative.
I hope you're
So
listening,
that-
everybody.
Yeah, so that the students get a real life work environment, so that like hands-on experiments like that.
I think I love that because, you know, I think especially in the summertime, a lot of students are really looking forward to that. I think the parents are looking forward to that even more, right? Yes, sir. What would you like to say?
I'll echo some of the things mentioned and add a few. We also use Unifrog quite extensively. You know, it's a great platform designed to offer students all the resources they need to explore potential careers. We actually start as early as grade 9 with having them sit for the personality and skills tests that are there. They use the platform, you know, to update and keep track of their profiles, to manage university applications. And the results of these steps form the foundation of discussions, as mentioned by earlier here. You know, they sit with the counselors, they look at these results, we discuss these with them and their parents, and then this would be the basis of student research. All within the Unifrog platform, they explore subjects or careers that match their personality and skills profiles.
Right.
You know, we complement our efforts with local partners and companies to sort of like add, you know, industry-led workshops to offer a more tangible perspective
Yes.
for students. We've had Emirates NBD give financial well-being and awareness workshops and presentations to our high school students.
Can I sign up?
You can, definitely. We work with Injaz
I really need
UAE. I don't know if you're aware, Injaz is a fantastic company. They specialize in bridging the gap really between, you know, school education and the requirements of the job market. So through Injaz, we've had Google give AI workshops to
Right.
some of our students. We've had FedEx. We've had so many other, you know, workshops through Injaz as well. Internships is another big one. We've expended a lot of effort this year to make internships available to our students. We were quite successful. We've managed to secure internships with LOD, the company behind the drone taxis.
Oh,
in the future, Aviantech, Strata Avionics in Al Ain, ADNOC. And I'm happy to say that next year, Sabas will be planning a major internship fair, which will add
Fantastic.
a lot more names. And one last thing I do want to mention, because I believe it's very important, is embracing as many opportunities as possible that universities make available.
Right.
These add an avenue for students to test their interests. That's so important. So we've been part of, Rochester Institute of Technology's innovation entrepreneurship competitions, engineering competitions. Abu Dhabi School of Management had recently a business day camp where students, collaborated on a coffee shop startup concept, or University of Birmingham's AI hackathon. The list is exhaustive. I can't list everything.
Right.
So, there isn't a preset toolkit. It's an evolving thing that is the result of constant effort
Right.
in us trying to find the best possible opportunities for our students.
Fantastic. Sounds great, actually. I'm sure you're going to be echoing everything, so I'm going to be starting off the next question with you. So how do you balance academic preparation for university with the development of, say, workplace, like ready skills such as critical thinking, collaboration, and communication as well?
Sure. As a test preparation and academic services institution, we do primarily deal with SAT preppers, IELTS preppers, and people preparing for admissions counseling, needing some guidance with their essays. But, as an English instructor in particular, I've actually found that I know these standardized tests can seem quite generic, but when preparing correctly, you can actually see the skills that are needed to apply for workplace and university academia, such as logical reasoning. SAT is primarily dealing with logical reasoning. So, as an assessment tool, to kind of piggyback off of the previous question as well, yes, we're assessing your ability to get into college and get that score that you need, but it's also kind of assessing your skills in time management, as I mentioned before, logical reasoning, critical analysis, and your skills in vocabulary and things like that are applicable to the real world and to university life, to your future essays that you might write for universities and, in the future when you're working in the workplace. So those tools, though they might seem like generic and simple now, like, oh, I have to take a test to gain admission to a college, that's not really just what it's doing. It's also assessing what you need to work on. Do you need to work on logical reasoning? Do you need to work on that critical analysis? These skills that you might need to develop. And that's kind of part of the process of what these assessment tools are trying to do. They're trying to help you determine those things for the future.
Absolutely. I love the choice of words that you've used. They're like stuck in my head for a while. So yes, I think same question for you also. Yes, about the balancing academic preparation part.
So I do agree with what ma'am has told, and I think we definitely need to appreciate our Abu Dhabi education department. The training what they are giving to the counselor is incredible, because we just started with different fields, but especially in the career training, the professional training what they are giving to us to help the students, as you have told about, before getting into the world of a job, their soft skills, basically communication, critical thinking, research, and some of the values also which you need to add in this. So these are some of the things which they are teaching us, which is really commendable, and I really thank UAE for giving such an opportunity for all of us. And as you have told about communication, mainly public speaking, the leadership quality the children needs to inculcate in their life. So we do have in our school some of the student council where the children are getting an opportunity to show up their leadership skills, come up with their own ideas. As you see, currently the children are, I don't have any words to say their intelligence, the way they speak. I think they are far beyond us.
Very confident.
Okay, yes, very confident, and the ideas which they come up with. So what we are doing is we are just enhancing those areas by giving them an opportunities. Okay, so we do have MUN, that is Model United Nations, that is the clubs. We have various clubs in our schools. This is how we are helping them to come up with their ideas and talk about it, and confidently, without any hesitation, and talk about their fear, as about the career options and what they feel about their academic achievements, so on and so forth. Along with that, the partnerships with the universities, the challenges, the competitions which they are conducting, especially Emirates Aviation University, the summer programs which they are giving, which is really, really appreciating. And the Business Cup Challenge, this is for the commerce students, because most of the time we do talk about science fields, right? So entrepreneurship, so how they can in STEM education, and how they can include entrepreneurship, business in science. So these are some of the things which the universities are giving us the platform to
Right.
showcase children interest. So these are some of the things which the platforms which we are using. As you know, we are living away from city. It's almost, I think, more than 3
Yes.
4 hours from the city. We are living in Al Dafra, where the resources are very less, but still our students and our school is really giving an opportunity, especially our CEO, Ms. Soja Saji. She's a powerhouse of inspiration. So she wants anything, if the children are coming up with, she wants that ideas to experiment. So that's why she involves students in all these platforms where they can talk about it.
Right.
So these are the things which we do from us.
Absolutely wonderful. I'm so sorry to cut you short because time is running short, so we just have 5 more minutes. So I'm going to quickly ask you a question and the next one to you, then we'll be wrapping this up as well. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the extracurricular activities. You know, I mean, if you talk about them, they are becoming very differentiators in university applications, right? So how do you help students select and engage in extracurriculars that meaningfully reflect their interests and aspirations?
So the answer for this question is in line with the previous question. First thing is to develop the soft skills. And I can proudly say here that GEMS UIS is following for leadership skills building. We use that a concept of gemstone. So each month is connected with one kind of a gemstone which highlights one of the leadership quality, and each student have to work upon it and make a record that how they are embedding it into their personality.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, and when we talk about the other soft skills, we follow the concept of and the culture of bringing everything into the curriculum through HPL, high performance learning module. And in the curriculum itself, all the skills are made sure that students are not only learning the subjects or only learning the content, they are using it into their real life.
Right.
And when it comes to the exploring about the future careers, we use the model of 8 billion ideas from grade 6 onwards, where our students are made into a groups and they do a research on one of the upcoming future career and make their own projects, how it is interesting, what will be the scope, and they teach their fellow classmates. These are the 3 modules which are focusing on all the interest along with the extracurricular activities, the leadership clubs,
Right.
and MUNs, as she already mentioned. So all of these things, by the grade 11th, they have a strong portfolio with them where we can identify, okay, these are the consistent interest of this child where the child has performed very well. And now we have to align with the best universities where they can get. Because academics is something which is with everyone. How to differentiate between the application.
Right, right.
There comes in your portfolio where all of these skills. And even the universities are now focused on the students who are more into the extracurriculars along with academics.
Absolutely. I'm so sorry to cut you because, you know, the thing is we just have like 3 more minutes left to this panel discussion. If you could just add in like for a few seconds, that would be great. Yes.
I'll be very brief. I
Yes.
think it's an interesting story that it'll be good for students and parents in attendance
Sure.
to hear. A few years ago, the international director at the Princeton Review, who also served on the admissions team at Princeton University, told me that Princeton could fill an entire freshman class multiple times over only from valedictorians from US high school.
There you go.
And that gives you an idea of how selective and competitive it is these days. And that doesn't even factor in the other top 10 students, let's say, in these schools or internationally even. It's ridiculous. So extracurriculars are becoming a differentiating factor. And if I may very quickly offer some advice to everyone here.
Yes, please go ahead.
Universities are not looking for a long list of 50 activities through high school. They're looking for three things. They're looking for depth, they're looking for growth and impact. They want to see that you're able to commit time and effort to excel at something that you're passionate about. And again, here, I think it's important to frame things using the right questions. Is it an activity that interests you? If yes, right, then you can go deep. Is it an activity that you can progress in? If yes, then you can demonstrate growth. And does it serve a greater good? Does it serve my community, my school? Is it related to a cause that I care about deeply? If yes, then you can demonstrate impact. So the key message, depth is much more important than volume.
Absolutely. We love that. But I think in Gen Z terms, main character energy for sure. Definitely, right? So, ma'am, anything that you like to put in as well before we say goodbye?
Yes, I would like to add on not only these theories in the textbook. While we mention extracurricular activities, we are making the students to develop their adaptability and resilience. So that is also considered when we are looking for this career opportunities. And also not only that, like they mentioned, we are also teaming up for entrepreneurship clubs and like leadership campaigns so that they know their potential and confidence. So which make them and help them to decide what they should do for their future, to make them right choices. So our curriculum is also designed in a way, deliberately designed in a way that we accommodate all of those things just than the academic purpose.
Fantastic. Sounds great. Yes. Last but certainly not the least.
And I just kind of wanted to go off of what Andy said, which is very true that extracurriculars are super important, but depth is more important than having, a wide range of activities. But that's because you want to be able to apply globally, right? The UAE is a very global country.
Correct.
And a lot of, talking with a lot of my students, I have students from all curriculums, CBSE, IGCSE, American curriculum, IBs. So I have students from all of the curriculums, and they've expressed, wanting to go abroad to either America, UK, Australia, staying here, going to India, Germany, France. But you want skills and extracurriculars that are going to be able to lead you wherever you want to go, whether that's here or abroad. So that's definitely achievable through choosing something that you really think you can deep dive into.
Absolutely.
As Andy said.
Completely agree with you. Thank you so very much. Boys and girls, if you have any questions, we'll quickly take two short questions. I think you should be making hay while the sun shines because you have the experts over here. So anything you have in mind, anything at all. Anyone? All right. So with that, we shall be closing down this session.